Bit of fluff on the lens. Sorry about that. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, how you're doing, and I hope you're doing very well. So today I wanted to talk about common mistakes that artists make. A few different mistakes that a lot of artists make and I have personally made over the years, and I wanted to share these with you, not necessarily to stop you from making them, because I think in a way it's sort of part of the learning process. The first one I wanted to talk about is not pushing through self-doubt enough. Every artist goes through a process with every painting. Well, maybe not every artist, but if you don't, then you are lucky. So with painting, stage one is, oh, I'm so excited about this idea. I love it, I love it, I love it. Stage two of painting is, is this gonna go right? Stage three is, nah, hate it. It's rubbish. Why did I even do this? Why am I an artist? I'm not an artist, I'm pretending to be one. Why am I even doing this? Maybe I should just go and be a spaceman or something. And then stage four is, yeah, maybe it's okay. And then you start to love it again. Like, from experience, this is like the process I go through nearly with every single painting, and it'd be really interesting to see if you guys go through like a similar process. So if you're an artist and you can like resonate with those up and down feelings, then let me know in the comments. So when you get to that stage three of, no, I hate it, I'm so rubbish, it's like everything in your brain just basically picks and bullies on you and tells you that you're not good enough to do it. But that's when you have to just be really, really strong and break through that wall and tell yourself that you can do it, and it doesn't matter even if you can't, because you're just practicing and you're learning, and just to carry on, because there's so many paintings where I nearly gave up and instead I just carried on with it and I just pursued it, and maybe like leave it another day, or maybe like you just need to refresh your energy and come back to it with a fresh mind. So mistake two, that is not being able to see the bigger picture. So I see a lot of like, especially young artists, asking, what do you think about my work? What do you think about this work? And like they've done 3 pictures. And instead of focusing on like the minute details of a painting, you need to take it right back to the first step of getting the basic shapes right. So this is why I want to encourage all of you, and I've been doing this myself recently. Instead of focusing on like one artwork at a time and making sure that it's a masterpiece and that it's completely finished and that you're going to sell it, instead just get your sketchbook out and just draw things that are around you and focus on shapes and lines. And you don't have to like spend hours and hours and hours shading or things like that. Just try and get the basic perspectives right. And so instead of just focusing on one painting as such, focus instead on your art skills and how you can make them better. And I feel like this has really helped me, because especially when I first started, but even now I feel like I still get caught up in the same web of that the art you make defines who you are as an artist, which in the commercial world is true, but to yourself, I feel like it's so much bigger than that. Focus on your art education. That is what's going to give you lifelong skills in drawing and painting, and that is what's going to ultimately, in the end game, make your painting better. Number 3 is quite a controversial topic. I find that most of the people that are very negative about it are actually not artists, which is kind of hypocritical. So this is actually another one of the biggest points, and that is not using a reference. A lot of people say that using a reference is cheating, and I don't even get that. Like, all that using a reference means is doing research on the subject that you are drawing, and I don't ever see how that can be a bad thing. So when Monet was in his garden painting his water lilies or his bridge or whatever, he was using a reference. Just being in his garden was him using his references. And if he can do it, then so can we. Maybe where people get confused is they see like one certain image, or they see someone else's art and then someone copies that directly, like literally copies it. A reference image is not wrong. In fact, it will completely change your art for the better, and it's completely helped me. Instead of putting pressure on myself just to create something from my mind and then draw it, studying references is really what's going to make your drawings look more lifelike, more realistic. Another point which I come across quite often in the comment section is that people are scared to waste their supplies. I know exactly how this feels because when I first started, I spoke about it before, but I couldn't afford like really good art materials. So I'd save up and then I'd get the right amount of money and I'd go and get them. And I'd put so much pressure on this one painting where I'm going to use my special oil paints. And then it would just all go wrong. And that is because fear in your mind just absolutely kills creativity. And I can't think of any situation where something creative in a good way has come from fear and holding back. That is just only going to shrink what you can become. And so if you do feel like you're wasting art supplies, then I'm not going to tell you to just use them haphazardly because they are obviously special. But what I would suggest is instead using something that you don't care about to have loads of practices on. Just maybe get some cheap paper, and like in my other video using coffee, just use coffee and paper and whatever paintbrush you can get your hands on, and use that for the basic ideas and concepts. And then when you feel really sure and you've practiced it a few times, maybe then you can use your more expensive supplies. You just want to make sure that whatever materials you do use, it's something that isn't so precious that you're scared to create. So this next mistake is something that I think all artists go through stages of making, and that is not playing. Losing that sense of childlike curiosity. But just looking back over my Instagram, you can see how much my artwork changes, and in the past I've felt that's not a good thing. Basically, like most of the successful artists in this day and age create very similar work again and again, and I think that's probably better from like a commercial aspect, because people then know what they like and they can rely on the artist to create that same thing again and again. But for the creative person themselves, I feel like it's so much better to just go exactly where your mind wants to go. And even if like two paintings are completely the opposite, there'll still be aspects of that will fine-tune your artist style, even if it's in a completely different style. There will be something that you can take away from that will benefit your future artwork. Let's just keep that inquisitive side of us going, and if you feel like you want to make something, go ahead and make it, you know? And if you are like selling art as a business and you are worried about that front like being a complete set, then you don't have to share everything you make. You can make something just for you and just hide it, and I do that all the time. And it's kind of nice when you share so much of yourself, say on like YouTube or Instagram. It's kind of nice just having that place where you can make art for you and no one has to see it. The last point for today's video is drawing what you think you see instead of what you see. This kind of leads on from the point about using a reference again. There's so many times where we think we know what something looks like, and then when we come to draw it, and we're like, yeah, this is what it looks like, I'm just going to draw it absentmindedly, and then it just doesn't look right and it looks like childish. This is where I really would recommend really studying what it is you're painting. So if it's like somewhere you can't physically be, like a forest and you live on the beach, then just Google loads of pictures of forests, maybe look at some YouTube videos so you get like a 3D image in your mind and figure out how it moves. My hand, for instance, fairly easy to know the shape when you hold it up like this. But what's difficult is when it's like this, and you're playing with where the aspect of your vision is, and that's when it gets sort of confusing. And this is where you really do need to look at what you actually see instead of what you think you see. And I wanted to share this book with you. This is not a sponsorship or anything like that. This is just a book that I found really useful, and it's called The New Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and it's by Betty Edwards. And she also does one about colour, which I am desperate to buy and have been for like 2 years. So one day I'm going to get that book. I will leave a link to this in the description box, and I would definitely recommend you go check it out. So that is all the points from today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all your amazing support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!